Don't
mu
mind.
ngi daw kinte bi
Don't mind her. Dina ko jël de bul worry sax. Madam Fatou Mbaye
mu ngi
Kinte. Madam Kinte is
mu ngi
around.
daw kinte bi
Okay, thank you.
okay, thank you very much, Mr. Fai.
Good evening to you all.
Good evening,
Yeah, I was away for the
Madam
festival,
Bai.
but now I am back. So,
Okay,
greetings to all of you
welcome back.
from Gujarat to Delhi to Haryana, Andhra Pradesh to Maharashtra. I'm saying Assalamu alaikum to all of you.
Okay, Madam Bai, I have a proposition for you.
Hello? Yes?
Yeah, can you hear me? I'm saying I have a proposition for you.
Okay.
Yeah, since you're not part of the judges, I think Mr. Tamba is replacing you on that side. So I would like you to come on board as a co-chair and chair
Mr.
this round of debate.
Mr. Tamba has left, so I am back
Ah,
I took back my
Mr. Tamba
position.
has left.
Yes, he left. He has another engagement. I was
Okay.
engaged
I
prior,
was going to
so
have
he
you as a
came,
coach.
and then now he left, so I am back.
Okay, that's fine. Nonetheless,
Yeah, but I'm still online,
so
all right?
you are still online and you left.
Yeah, he left. He left the table of judges, so he is going for another engagement.
Acha. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
I actually wanted a co-chair. I was
Oh.
searching for a co-chair, but okay. So we move to the next set of debate that is going to be between Gujarat and Maharashtra. So are the participants online? Hello? Are the participants online?
Yes,
Gujarat.
Gujarat
I,
is
s- I s-
around.
okay. I see somebody writing on the comments that we are going to tear gas them. And nobody will be tear gassed. Okay, so Gujarat is around. Can you introduce your participants? Those from Gujarat, can you introduce yourselves?
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Good evening. Good evening to you all. I am Sajo A.K. Jaju, studying at SVIT College, Sadavaba High Patel Institute of Technology in Wasat, studying aeronautical engineering on the GTU, which is the Gujarat Technological University in Gujarat. And I am one of the representatives of Gujarat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saja. The next participant from Gujarat. Who is the next participant from Gujarat? Sajo, are you alone?
I'm not alone. Mariama is supposed to be with us as well.
Is she online currently or not yet?
She might be facing some network error cases.
Oh, why is it that only Gujarat has network issues? Okay, since Mariama is not on, I think the participants from Maharashtra state should introduce themselves.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, okay. Shivaji, you can wait. Mariama is on.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mariam Ndialo, a final year political science student of Gujarat University, and I'm one of the representatives of Gujarat for tonight's debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, politician Jalo. I think we will have Shivaji Maharaj's people to introduce themselves. Maharashtra.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Modu Lewis, attending DKT and Autonomous Institute of Shivaji University. I am very glad to be in this debate again, and I can't wait to get to this spirited discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luis. The next participant.
Good evening to you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Babakar Jiba. They call me Big Daddy. I want you to send this message to the Gujarat people that me and my colleagues, we will never step back. We are here to scrutinize and mesmerize Gujarat people. This is a message for them.
Okay. This is going to be a tough one there. We have Shivaji Maharaj all the way from Maharashtra going to attack Gujarat. Wow. This is nice. So, without wasting much time, I think the judges have introduced themselves in the beginning. So, just to remind you again, we have Madam Fatumbai. Earlier, Mr. Tamba stepped in for, but Fatumbai is back, on the judges' table. So, we have three of them: Shefai, Mr. Baji, and Fatumbai. So, we go to the topic of the day. The topic is: this house believes that developing the agriculture and tourism sectors can lead Gambia to sustainable growth. This house believes that developing the agriculture and tourism sectors can lead Gambia to sustainable growth. So that's the topic. We have Gujarat going in for the motion and Maharashtra going against the motion. So without wasting much time, the same rules apply. 8 minutes per participant and then 2 minutes for the question and answer session. Yeah, so we begin with the motion as usual. Gujarat, the floor is yours.
Agriculture not only give riches to a nation, but the only
Mariama, may I suggest you look for an indoor place because your network is echoing.
Maybe he is using two devices, or maybe someone is around him who is not muted. She might be using two devices, or someone. Yeah.
agriculture not only give riches to a nation, but the only riches he can call her own. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, but you are not movable. Your video is at one place. Why not turn off the video
The
and
video is on.
try the voice? The video is on, yeah. Mr. Baji said an interesting thing. Maybe you are logged
Are
into
you hearing me
multiple
now?
devices. Is that to build your fan base?
Please.
Oh, so the network was from the Gambia then. The network issue is from here. Okay, so yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Come on, guys. Now we have Comion. Now we don't have network issues. Mariama, are you still muted? I hope she's not explaining while she's being muted. Can anyone hear Mariama?
No, we can't. Can she
Yeah, I'm not.
unmute? It's very important.
Yeah, maybe someone that has her number can just send her a message that she's on mute, because I don't think she's hearing what I'm saying. Well, I hope the people from Shivaji Maharaj's place did not hijack her network also.
I'm very sorry. It was my network because I was upstairs. Are you getting me now?
Yes.
Okay.
I can get you.
Agriculture not only gives riches to a nation, but the only riches she can call her own. Honorable judges, proposers and opposers of this proposition, and all other people present here, I greet you all. In my capacity as the Prime Minister, I will first start by reminding this House about the undebatable motion that preoccupies us here today, which reads, this House believes that developing the agriculture and tourism sectors can lead the Gambia to a sustainable growth. Before going further, I would like to read out the architectural structure of my debate. First of all, I'm going to define the key terms of the motion, as it is being my task and responsibility to define the key terms for further comprehension. And secondly, I will move on to set the perimeter for today's debate. And thirdly, I'm going to establish my own laconic, tax and precise points, and then I'll finally summarize, and in summary, I will conclude. Going by my architectural structure, the key terms in the motion are developing, agriculture, tourism, Gambia, and sustainable growth. Development is the gradual growth of something, so it becomes more advanced. Agriculture is the science and art of cultivating of crops and rearing of animals for man use. And tourism is the business activity connected with providing services and entertainment for people who are visiting a place for pleasure. And the Gambia is a sovereign and an independent country found in West Africa, with a population of 2.3 million people and surrounded by Senegal in all the three sides. And sustainable growth, I will give it in a phrasal form. It is a concept that is used to describe community and economic development in terms of meeting the needs of the present without compromising its ability. And all these definitions are backed by the Macmillan Advanced Dictionary. And secondly, I will move on to set the perimeter for today's debate, which is that the Gambia should develop its agriculture and tourism sector so as to lead the country for a sustainable growth. So the Gambia government should take it as a primary responsibility of developing the tourism and the agricultural sector so as to reduce the rate of dependence on other countries. And thirdly, moving on to establishing my own points. The first point is agriculture has been the backbone of the economic of many developing and developed countries. According to the World Bank report published on September 19, 2023, states that agriculture accounts for 4% of the global economy, and in least developing countries, it can account for 25% of their GDP. And in Gambia, agriculture accounts for 30% of our GDP, and tourism accounts for 20%. So the government of the Gambia developing agriculture and tourism will absolutely lead the country to a sustainable growth. Therefore, by developing the agriculture and tourism sector, the Gambia can lead to a more diversified economy. By investing in these sectors, the Gambia can reduce its dependence on a single industry, such as the traditional exports, and create more balanced and resilient economy. Agriculture and tourism are key sectors that can contribute to the earning of foreign exchange for Gambia. So, by developing the agriculture, Gambia can increase its exports, such as cash crops and produce, such as cash crops and processed crops, and valuable and unvaluable foreign exchange. So, similarly, by promoting tourism, the Gambia can attract international visitors who spend money on accommodation, local products, and services, thereby boosting foreign exchange services. So, coming to my second point, developing the agricultural sector will boost Gambia's employment of the youth, because according to the statistic by the Gambia Bureau of Statistics, GBOS, on January 23rd, 2023, the unemployment rate of the youth in the Gambia has risen to 41.5%. So the Gambia government developing the agriculture sector will help reduce this figure of unemployment, because the active youths that are unemployed will venture into agriculture and create a livelihood for themselves. So both agriculture and tourism have potentials to generate a significant number of jobs, particularly for the local population. So developing these sectors can provide Gambia employment opportunities for where people in the rural areas can embark on agriculture, which is their primary source of livelihood, and people in the urban areas where tourism can create jobs in hospitality, transportation, and other related industries. And thirdly, sustainable development. Developing the agriculture and tourism sectors in a sustainable manner can lead the country to a long-term growth. And environmental conservation. In agriculture, promoting sustainable farming practices such as organic farming and agroforestry can help to preserve the economic, improve soil quality, and ensure long-term productivity of farmland. Similarly, in tourism, adopting sustainable tourism practices such as promoting ecotourism and protecting natural habitats can preserve Gambia's unique natural and cultural heritage. And lastly, the agriculture sector can fight against hunger, because the products harvested can be subsidized by the government and sold at a cheap price, and sold at a cheap price to the general citizenry, thereby removing hunger disease in the country, as an empty bag cannot stand. So, developing these sectors will lead the Gambia to a food sufficiency, which includes food security, thereby reducing the need for food imports in the country, especially rice, which is mostly consumed by a majority of the population of the Gambia. So, by implementing sustainable farming practices, supporting small-scale farmers, and improving access to resources like irrigation, we can increase food productivity that everyone has enough to eat. Together, we can fight hunger and create a more secure hunger-free Gambia. So, Honorable Speaker of the House, I will now summarize my debate. I started by defining the key terms of the motion, which were developing Gambia, agriculture, tourism, and sustainable growth. And I went on to set my perimeter for today's debate. And then I went on to establishing my own laconic and text points. And then in summary, I summarized. So, honorable judges, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I rest my case. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mariama. Then now we will have contestants from Maharashtra.
Good evening to you, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, my respected co-debaters, and my fellow students who are listening to us live and direct. Before going further, Mr. Chairman, I would like to congratulate baby Mariama for making a very forceful information concerning about this topic. And for Mariama, don't have to mind. I'm not going to divorce you as you are my wife, but I'm just going to manage you as usual. So, Mr. Chairman, on this topic, we say Gambia should develop the agriculture and tourism sector for the sustainable growth of the Gambia. I against the motion on this statement. It is crucial to understand why relying solely on agriculture and tourism may not be the best strategy for Gambian development, Mr. Chairman. Here are some facts, example to learn from and reference to support the perspective of this argument, Mr. Chairman. We all know that overexploitation of natural resources for agriculture and tourism may lead to environmental degradations, including deforestation, soil erosion, and coral reef damage, Mr. Chairman. Let's take an example about what happened in Maldives, Mr. Chairman. Maldives heavily rely on tourism, and now they are facing rising sea level, facing serious sustainable challenges, and now they are initiating measures for environmental protection. So, Mr. Chairman, let's talk about agriculture and tourism. We all know that agriculture and tourism is a seasonal employment, and you can talk about income inequality in agriculture and tourism. So tourism often provides seasonal employment, as we all know, Mr. Chairman, which can result in income inequality and instability, as many workers may have employment only during the peak tourist seasons. Mr. Chairman, I can give you example. In some Caribbean nations, a significant portion of the population experience unemployment during the off-peak tourist months. So this was recorded and testified by the World Travel and Tourist Council on the topic about Caribbean tourism economic impact on 2020 report, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we all know that agriculture communities often experience price volatility in global markets, affecting the income of smallholders farmers and the country overall economic stability. We all know about it. Let's take example, countries that rely heavily on cash crop like coconut, groundnut, coffee have faced challenges due to fluctuation in global price, Mr. Chairman. This was referenced and supported by international food policy research institution in the impact of global price volatility on Africa community exporters in 2012, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we also know that depending primarily on raw agricultural products and mass tourism can limit opportunity for value addition. When I talk about value addition, Mr. Chairman, I'm talking about innovation, technology-driven growth. And let's take example, country like South Korea, Mr. Chairman, as we all know, they have shifted from agriculture to high-tech industry, fostering innovation and generating high-value production. And this was gathered, the information was supported by World Intellectual Property and Organization on South Korea about their development in 2019, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Chairman, relying predominantly on agriculture and tourism can make a country highly susceptible due to external shocks, such as global economic downturns. We can know about global economic downturns, climate change impacts, and change in consumer preferences. So, Mr. Chairman, we know countries in Caribbean which heavily rely on tourism experience severe economic setback during the COVID-19 pandemic due to the sudden drop in tourist arrival. And we know there's a high competition in tourism. Not only Gambia is engaged on tourism, there is a high competition in a lot of countries on the tourism sector, Mr. Chairman. So there must be a risk for our country to engage on tourism and focus much on tourism and agriculture. Over-reliance on agriculture and tourism can mean that the country economic fate is heavily tied to factors beyond its control. That means if a country focuses more on agriculture and tourism, their fate is heavily tied on factors beyond its control. So that's going to be such a global market. We know about the global market, the condition, weather pattern, and geopolitical stability. So, Mr. Chairman, we have countries that have diverse their economies are less vulnerable to external shocks as they have broadened economic base to rely on. Mr. Chairman, as we all know, that successful countries often strategize diverse their economies by developing other sectors like manufacturing, technology, finance, renewable energy. With example, Mr. Chairman, as you know, Singapore, which have limited natural resources, have diversified into finance, technology, and logistics, contributing to its remarkable economic growth. And this was Singapore Economic Development Board annual report on 2020, as we all know, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we know Gambia is 58 years old now. The government have been doing meetings after meetings for the development of agriculture and tourism. And still now, it doesn't yield the expectation of the ROI. If people doesn't know about ROI, it's about return on investment, as the economic students will know. So, Mr. Chairman, we should focus more and consider these facts. So I suggest you that by considering these facts, the facts I give you an example, the Gambia can explore strategies for diversifying its economy, reducing dependency on agriculture and tourism, and promoting long-term sustainability, development, and resilience. We have to focus on long-term, not short-term. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I think on this topic today, with this point, I know you will agree on me. And look at about the income inequality, Mr. Chairman. These sectors may not provide equitable income distribution with a significant portion of the population still living in poverty. We all know that Gambia, 48% of people are still living in poverty. So diversifying this economy can create more employment and opportunity across various skills level. And
You
the
have 2 minutes.
employment.
You have 2 minutes.
Okay, Mr. Sir. And as my colleagues were saying, the employment has risen to 41%. Mariama was even helping me to know that agriculture and tourism is not the solution to Gambia development, because he stated that the unemployment have risen to 41%, because we all know that agriculture and tourism is seasonal, which is not good for the economy of the country. We need long-term sustainable development and resilience to develop Gambia. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, as the time doesn't permit me, I have a lot of points, but I can rest my case here and to respect the accurate timekeeper and the panel of judges on this matter. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you for that presentation. We will now move on to Gujarat. The second presenter of Gujarat can comment.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Waiting for the development of the undeveloped nations is a sign of undeveloped mentality. Honorable Speaker of the House and honorable members here present, in my capacity as the government whip, I would start by giving the structure of my debate. The structure of my debate reads, I would start by debunking the baseless points that were put forward by the opposition leader. I would move on to substantiate the points that were made by my able Prime Minister. From there, I would give my own tangible points, and henceforth, I would give an alternative. If time permits, I would summarize, and in summary, I would conclude, Honorable Speaker. Thank you. As in my structure, I said I'm going to start by rebutting the points that were put forward by our unable or self-proclaimed opposition leader, in the sense that the opposition leader came here, and one of the points that he's made mention of was about exploitation and degradation, as taking reference with Maldives. But then to put to his knowledge, you don't expect to come before this honorable house and giving us things that in fact have no connection with the topic. And as a matter of fact, you don't just expect to come, tell us this thing is white, and you expect us to agree to that thing without giving us any statistics with regards it. So, Honorable Speaker of the House, I think that point of his is null and void. And also he came here and was like the Caribbean this, Caribbean that. In fact, I did not get it, because as a matter of fact, this is a house of intellects, and we expect when the opposition leader would come here, he's supposed to give a structure that would guide the debaters and as well the adjudicators to know this is what he's going to do. But he came here and did not give us any structure, so we were dumbfounded. We were actually flabbergasted by the way he actually come up with things that do not even hold water. So at this juncture, I would just randomly select the points that he's made mention of and then rebut them as they are all baseless. He said he talked about the global market issue, saying that at some point when we rely on agriculture and tourism, sometimes it would be beyond our control. But then, to you had made mention of manufacturing and finance. In that regards, you had already vindicated my Prime Minister, because my Prime Minister came here, and one of the points she's made mention of was actually on the side of economy. So, like, the economy side has to do with the finance, and then the finance falls under a branch of agriculture. So, if you are telling us that the finance is a part of this, then I'm dumbfounded. I don't even know that you even understand this topic that is at hand. The opposition leader. He also made mention of saying that tourism and agriculture are seasonal. I don't think you had really researched on this topic, because if you had researched on this, you will know that every developed or developing country is really trying to revamp the agricultural sector in ensuring that they have, how do I put it, an year-round tourism season. And that is why the topic is developing the agricultural sector and tourism sector, not basically what we had. And you said the tourism sector also is seasonal. How is it seasonal? When basically we have, do you want to tell me the structures that we have in those tourism areas are seasonal? Like, for instance, when the tourism season is over, they are all watered down, or they will be, so that there would not be any tourism. Do you want to tell me again the security personnel that are being employed at that place actually are seasonal at some point? Because whether the tourism season is on or not, believe me, you have those people that are employed and they are doing what is expected of them. And then again, you would come to realize that those people will be working on unemployment for them, which my able Prime Minister made mention of. Honorable Speaker of the House, as time didn't permit me, I will move down to strengthen the points of my able Prime Minister. The Prime Minister came here, and the first point she's made mention of was on the side of economy. So he said agriculture is the backbone of economy of many developing and of course developed countries, of which the Gambia is not an exception. So this should be understood by the opposition side, because we are talking about the Gambia, and as a matter of fact, you don't expect to debate and tell us things that are not even in tandem with the Gambian society and the Gambia that is in question as far as this motion is concerned. Because the motion reads, this House believes that developing the agriculture and tourism sectors can lead the Gambia to sustainable growth. And then my Prime Minister set a parameter by saying that it will reduce the rate of dependency on other countries. And that was why she brought in the issue of economy. From economy, she moved down to the issue of employment creation or job creation per se. Said published on the International Organization of Employers page, the services sector is the largest provider of regular employment in the Gambia at 54.44% with public administrators, transportation, and tourism. And a trade, of course, because all these things are subsets of agriculture. So there's nothing that you can talk about a country without including agriculture and tourism, because they're the backbone. Every other thing that comes after this. Agriculture is the first, and then followed by tourism. So any country that actually wants to develop would obviously put these two things into consideration, and all the other things would fall under it because they are subsets of it. My able Prime Minister also came here, and the other point she's made mention of was the sustainable development side, saying that long-term growth and environmental conservation, promoting sustainable farming practices and ecotourism, protecting our flora and fauna, of course. So the duo are interlinked as far as sustainable development is concerned, Honorable Speaker. For instance, published by the Standard newspaper, the Standard newspaper's Omar Ba on the 25th day of September 2023, President Barrow launches smart farming projects with hope for efficient agriculture, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, to substantiate this point, actually, President Barrow on Friday, as I'm reading from the Standard newspaper, launched the Gambia's first government-led smart farming project aimed at transforming the country's agricultural sector. Senior government functionaries, agricultural workers, and members of the farming community were among a glittering array of high-profile guests at the groundbreaking event for the rollout of the smart farming project. He added that with increased hunger and malnutrition, the government, through the leadership of President Barrow and with the direct support of the Ministries of Agriculture and Finance, again, finance comes under the Ministry of Agriculture, Honorable Speaker. I know my opponent would come here and tell me that we have a minister under the Ministry of Finance, but these ministries are interlinked, and then the mother of all these ministries are actually the Ministry of Agriculture. So the finance again comes under a subset of the Ministry of Agriculture, Honorable Speaker, and has demonstrated that no effort will be held back in ensuring that our food security goals are achieved in the short and medium term. So our president, if we see our president coming up with such projects, it shows that there is going to be sustainable growth by promoting or developing our agricultural sector, Honorable Speaker of the House. And the other point that my able Prime Minister made mention of was food self-sufficiency, especially our staple foods, which is rice, therefore developing agriculture and tourism sectors, and so food security, reducing the need for food imports and vulnerability to feed food fluctuations.
You have 2 minutes.
This was clearly explained by my able Prime Minister. So my own point, the first one is poverty alleviation. Data reveals that income generated from agriculture and tourism can alleviate poverty. And then as a matter of fact, you come to realize that developing agriculture and tourism can alleviate poverty of about 70% in the Gambia, and hence winning the battle of poverty alleviation, Honorable Speaker of the House. The other point is infrastructure development. When we come to the side of the transportation, you come to realize that when the agricultural sector is being developed, the growth of the agricultural sector, actually there's going to be that transportation stuff, and in the transportation stuff it is going to link the places, so you'll have those infrastructures which will eventually lead to sustainable growth of the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, my third point that I would give is agricultural preservation. Agriculture preserves cultural and natural vegetation of a country. Example, when agriculture is developed, our staple foods like rice, coos, findi would be known by our generation yet unborn. In the same way, tourism promotes the preservation of cultural heritage, as statistics done by Samira Ahmed of the BBC on the 1st of April 2022. Agriculture provides not only the tourism industry resources for food consumption, but also the background for cultural preservation, as in the case of the Gambia Homecoming Festival, as in the case of the Kunta Kita Festival. You realize that there, our things would be shown to the people that are actually there, and as a matter of fact, it's also another form of promoting our resources that we have in the country, thereby promoting agriculture.
Okay, Sayo, I think the 2 minutes is finished now, so you can stop there.
Okay, and then I conclude. Thank you all.
All right. Okay. We can now have the next presenter from Maharashtra.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, once again. Mr. Chairman, before I proceed, I go in deep to this spirited conversation. I'll start by dismantling the definitions my opponents gave. Economic growth, sustainability. It means economic sustainability of a country. If you are defining terms, you have to define the terms based on this sentence, because there are some words you cannot just define it because it has different meaning with different sentences. So economic growth and sustainability. Economic sustainability refers to the practices that support long-term economic growth without negatively impacting, listen carefully to these words, negatively impacting to social, environmental, and cultural aspects of the community. Mr. Chairman, before I go into this spirited conversation, I'll give the structure of my debate. First, I'll talk about the effects of agriculture and tourism in the Gambia. Then I will give just short points on what can lead Gambia to sustainable growth, and then I'll conclude by stating problems facing agriculture and tourism in the Gambia. First, as Mr. Chairman, as we know that Gambia is a small country which relies more on agriculture and tourism, but there are certain environmental concerns. Agriculture that will lead Gambia to a sustainable growth, it requires heavy agriculture or large-scale agriculture, and for that, it can lead to several environmental issues such as deforestation, soil degradation, water pollution, and biodiversity. I'll go into these points in detail a little. Deforestation, continuous cutting down of trees due to small area of land of agriculture, especially in the Gambia. We all know that Gambia land area is about 11,000 square kilometers, and there are only 39% of it can be used for agriculture. Soil degradation, it is the physical, chemical, and biological decline of soil quality. It can lead to loss of organic matter, decline in soil facility and structural conditions, which causes erosion. Thirdly, I'll talk about water pollution. Agriculture, which accounts for about 70% of water withdrawals worldwide, plays a major role in water pollution. Farms discharge large quantities, agrochemicals, organic matter, drug residues, sediments, and saline drainage into water bodies, causing pollution. Thirdly, I'll talk about biodiversity. It all comes back to biodiversity. Natural habitats has been converted into farms, pastures, and pesticides. Fertilizers have polluted the environment, the soil, and being degraded. According to World Health Organization, it is stated that 90% of the pollution in the Gambia is caused by agricultural industries. So, Mr. Chairman, I want you to tell me how can a country be developed by damaging its soil or its natural resources? You cannot develop something by damaging it. Secondly, I'll talk about tourism. We all know that according to statistics of GDP, in 2010, the Gambia GDP was 1.5 billion. That is 5.9%. In 2015, it drops down to 1.38 billion. And thirdly, 2020, it's about 1.8 billion US dollars. So, concluding, I can conclude that from 2010 to 2020, it has been the GDP of the Gambia has been increasing, but yet still there's no increase, or there's no increment that will lead Gambia to sustainable growth. Okay, according to agriculture, for the agricultural sector, I'll to drugs, which we are not available in the Gambia, like cocaine, heroin, these ecstasy pills. They were never available in the Gambia. But because of tourism, people coming outside from each country to enjoy, they bring along, during the December, they bring along many drugs, which are leading our youths and our children to be drug addicts in the street. As before, my definition talk about negative impact of social and environmental. That is one of the negative impacts of the social and environmental. Okay. Now I'll move on to what can lead. My opponent spoke about sustainable development, but he doesn't. She doesn't even know the points that are under sustainable development. For a country to gain sustainable development, there are three main points. That is economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection. As I spoke about the economic growth earlier, I'll move on to social inclusion. Social inclusion is defined as the process of improving the terms of participation in society, particularly for people who are disadvantaged. We need to value everyone as equal. That is social inclusion. Now, how to promote social inclusion in a country? Helping socially excluded people and communities overcome inequalities they face, whether through programs or campaigns. Secondly, promote equal opportunities, eliminating any kind of promoting equal opportunities and respecting diversities. Thirdly, ensures occurs to employment and to tools to participate in social life without barriers. Lack of accessibility is still present in the Gambia. Now I will move on. I will conclude by telling by Mr. Chairman. I'll conclude by stating the defects of agriculture, or what agriculture is caused in the Gambia. Okay. Climate change and agricultural vulnerability. Gambia faces climate change risks, including erratic rainfall patterns and rising temperatures. These factors can lead to crop failure and reduce agricultural productivity, making agriculture less reliable as a sole economic driver. This is the reference from the United Nations Development Program report on climate change vulnerability assessment in 2015. Then secondly, I will talk about market competition. The global tourism market is highly competitive, and many destinations are vying for the same tourists. The Gambia may find it challenging to differentiate itself and attract consistent stream of visitors. Thirdly, resources constraints. The Gambia may lack the necessary resources, infrastructure, and capital to develop these sectors simultaneously. Developing both agriculture and tourism can restrain the country to limited resources. Mr. Chairman, so from all these points I've mentioned earlier, I hope that it has dismantled all the points. Okay, Mr. Chairman, from all the points I've mentioned earlier, I hope that the points have dismantled all these arguments that were raised with my opponent. Okay, I conclude. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I think now we can go to the questioning and answer session. I don't know whether Mr. VI is back. Mr. VI? Okay. Then we can proceed. We can, first of all, get questions from the... All right. The chair is a little bit busy. This is why I'm stepping in for him. So we can go straight to the question and answer session. So we start from Gujarat. They can ask their question, and then we can have a response from Maharashtra. Gujarat. And we have our first question.
Okay, I'll be the one to ask questions. The first question.
Okay, all right.
Okay, the question read, I'm actually going to provide a preamble for it, and that is, as these two sectors, which are agriculture and tourism, accommodates both the educated and non-educated citizens, my question to our opponents is, without agriculture and tourism, how could our communities increase their local tax bases and new employment opportunities? Thank you.
Sergeant? Okay, your question, can you frame it again? The last stage.
Sergeant, can you just repeat the question?
I'll be more than pleased to do that. I believe the opponents are unwilling to do it or reluctant. But then, all in all, I'll go back to my question. I started by telling you that I was going to give a preamble to my question, and it is, as these two sectors, which are agriculture and, of course, tourism, accommodates both the educated and, of course, the non-educated citizens. So my question to you is, without agriculture and tourism, how could our communities increase their local tax bases and new employment opportunities? That is my question. If it is not understood or you've not gotten it, I can repeat it again.
Okay, Sajo, I understand your question. What I will try to emphasize on it, like no country is an island. And secondly, talking about the agriculture, that's the beauty about economies. When you talk about economies, it's about selling and buying. That's when you have to do importation and exportation, as no country is an island. Talking about agriculture and tourism, and we all know our educational sector of Gambia, and the highly educated people are not engaged in agriculture. And secondly, tourism, a lot of people on the tourism sector, if you go to Senegambia, as you know, you find the dropout people who are there. And at least 48% of people who are not educated are working under these sectors. And this sector, agriculture, we need an educated people to try to understand how to. Agriculture is very expensive, one thing you should understand, and you need educated people to run a very good agricultural system in the Gambia. So on your question today, I will tell you that no country is an island. That is the beauty about economics. So you should understand about that.
Right. Can we have one from Maharashtra?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. My question to my opponents is, can agriculture and tourism lead Gambia to sustainable growth by destroying the Gambian society and culture? Should I come again? I repeat, can agriculture and tourism lead Gambia to sustainable growth by destroying Gambia's society and culture? Thank you.
Okay, an answer from Gujarat.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lewis, for that question. But to put it to you, it is not agriculture and tourism that is destroying the Gambia. But in that case, we can say it is the people themselves. So you cannot put the blame on agriculture and tourism because the tourists are there. The tourists are there to provide us with that economy, because when they go to the country and embark on certain activities, they are providing economic to the country. And in the same way also, agriculture is also providing economic to the country. And cumulatively, the agriculture and the tourism sector contribute to 50% of our GDP. So in that case, it is not agriculture and tourism that is responsible for that factor, but it is the people ourselves. So you cannot put the blame on agriculture and tourism. Thank you.
Good. It's good that all of you are mindful about the time. So this is why I'm not putting that restriction for now, because you are all within the time. So can we have another question from Gujarat?
Okay, and my question is, could you please tell this house with factual evidence what other source of income apart from agriculture and tourism can lead the Gambia to a sustainable growth? Because you do not provide us with any other alternatives apart from agriculture and tourism. So can you provide us with evidence what other sources of income apart from agriculture and tourism can lead the Gambia to attain sustainable growth? That is my question.
Okay, my beautiful wife, I'm going to answer this question for you because we are not in the divorce journey. So I will tell you example on the facts that we are really managing our. You talk about manufacturing. We have industry that we can use to manufacture our raw material. You talk about technology, and right now technology is the fastest growing, or any country that engage on technology and look at their development is faster. Like you can take Rwanda example or Singapore, you can see their technology. We talk about the finance department too, and how to renew, like renewable about energy, how to renew our energy. You know about, I can give you example about Singapore, my dear wife, which have limited natural resources and have diversified into finance and technology and logistics. And right now, you know, Singapore is among the best country as an example to your question, my love.
Okay, thank you. All right, then I think we will now allow the judges to start asking questions. And
No,
then,
sir, we have to ask. We ask two questions. We ask one question. I want to ask my beloved wife.
yes, you are right. Can you ask your question, your final question? All right, go ahead.
Okay, baby Mariam, because you are talking about the employment rising to 41.1%. So how can the employment rising to 41.1% to yield the sustainable ROI for the development of the country, my love?
Can you please repeat the question?
I will allow my opponent. I will allow my.
Jiba, can you just repeat the
Sajo, you can
question
come in,
again?
please, because I already answered my question, so I will allow Sajo to come in and answer that question for you.
Jiba, can you just repeat the question again?
Mr. Chairman, I want to talk to my wife direct, live and direct, not to Sergio. This is a family matter. So I want to ask you, my wife, how can unemployment, as you stated, unemployment rising to 41.1%? So how can unemployment rising to 41% to yield the sustainable ROI for the development of the country, my love?
Okay, Jiba,
Well,
if the question is actually directed to the state, meaning to both participants. So if, let's say, you prefer an individual to answer and
yes,
then he's not in position to answer, then the other colleague can actually come in. Yes, Sajo, yes, Sajo, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much for that question, even though very unconventional. You said ROI. In the first place, I would ask you what ROI is. This is a house of intellects. We don't just expect you to come and be beating about the bush, giving us acronyms and so on, without giving us the name, the exact name of what you meant by that ROI. But then again, I believe you had actually misquoted my able prime minister. My prime minister, the statistics you actually gave were incorrect, and I would have to correct you on that. The 41.0% that she had talked about was on the side of the unemployment rate increasing. So what she's trying to say is, by developing the agricultural side, it's like it's going to create that much of employment for the people, and as it increases the employment rate of the people, it is like the unemployment rate is going to go down, and what people really would actually be in the country. So as a matter of fact, the same thing would translate to the tourism industry, because that is the motion at hand here. And then again, like your question, to substantiate it, to show to you that we really understand the motion. This is actually going to encourage foreign investors into our country, and if they come, it's like we're going to have that much of employment in the country. So therefore, I believe your question is not understood by yourself, but let me educate you. Sit down. This is a house of intellects. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that wonderful question and answer session. So we can now move on to the next level, where the judges will actually ask their questions. So we will start by Madam Bai will start the first questions.
Good evening once again. My question is, what role can international partnership and investment play in the development of agriculture and tourism in the Gambia? What role can international partnerships and investments play in the development of agriculture and tourism in the Gambia? What role can international partnerships and investments play in the development of agriculture and tourism in the Gambia? Thank you.
All right, so Gujarat can go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mbai, for that question. Success stories in agriculture and tourism can attract foreign and, of course, domestic investors for the fueling sustainable growth of our country. For example, in the Gambia, we have the Redville farm, and then the Redville farm is in Nemakunku, and they had actually, how to call it? I'm being distracted. I don't know whose mic is on. Okay. for example, we have the Redville farm in Nemakunku. And again, for example, the Redfield Nemakunku Lower Basic School was built on the auspices of this. So it's built as part of the Reti and Villas Dani School Empowerment Project, named after Redville farms established by Willamette founders. Redville Nemakunku Lower Basic School officially opened in October 2018 to over 1,000 children. And again, it was aged between the ages of 7 to, of course, 10. Impressively, over half of the children are female. In fact, the gender balance is reality for Gambian society, where many girls do not attend school due to necessities. It is the only lower basic school in the Gambia which have the standards, and it does not only provide children with an excellent education, but also provided free uniforms and, of course, educational resources. Additionally, the school is provided with water and electricity supply and a maintenance program delivery of high standards. So for that, it would tell you, it would actually it would actually encourage more investors coming into the country. That is the international and, of course, those you have in the domestic, because the Redville farm is comprises of that of the domestic, and as well you have those that are international. So as a matter of fact, it is going to yield that sustainable growth that we all yearn for. So this is a classical example that I can use as far as this question is concerned, Madam Bai. Thank you so very much.
All right. Then we can allow Maharashtra to comment to answer the question.
Good evening to you, ma'am. On this topic, I would say they have to help us with crisis management and resilience to try to manage our resources. That the international partnership can provide support in time of crisis. Every time we receive erosion or heavy rainfall, so they can also help us in marketing and promotions. As we all know, sustainable practice and conversation are very important in infrastructure development. Agriculture needs a very infrastructure development and tourism to attract tourists, because it is very competitive in tourism. So research and innovation, we can have access to the market whereby we can sell our product if possible. And technical assistance and capacity building is very, very important in tourism and agriculture. And investment, and they have to funding too, because international partners such as foreign organization, international organization can develop, like development bank example, can provide financial assistance, grants or loans to the tourist and the agriculture sector for the development of the country.
All right. Then we can go ahead to the next, George.
Yes. My question is, how can Gambia ensure that the benefits of growth in agriculture and tourism are equitably distributed among its population? I repeat, how can Gambia ensure that the benefits of growth in agriculture and tourism are equitably distributed among its population? For the third time, how can Gambia ensure that the benefits of growth in agriculture and tourism are equitably distributed among its population? Thank you.
Yes, so we can start from Maharashtra.
Okay, thank you so thank you so much for that question. I will answer that question. As I mentioned earlier, okay, the Gambia can help one by social inclusion, that is helping socially excluded people and communities overcome inequalities they face, whether through programs or campaigns. And secondly, they should promote equal opportunities, eliminating any kind of prejudice and respecting diversity. And thirdly, they should ensure access to employment and to tools to participants in social life without barriers. Lack of accessibility is still present with people with disabilities. So people facing these difficulties in the Gambia, everyone, whether they are disabled or not, should have equal respect in the Gambia. Thank you.
Okay, then we can go to Gujarat.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Fai, for that question. And to answer that question, I will divide it into 3 categories. So first of all, I will elaborate on the infrastructure. So the infrastructure, like the benefits that the Gambia will drive from the Gambia will drive from this agriculture and tourism sector. Like they can invest it in infrastructure. If they invest it in infrastructure, so in that case, like everyone is going to be included because we are all going to use those infrastructures that are built, like those infrastructures that are being built by the government. And also coming to the food security sector, like if we embark on these agricultural things and tourism and we get a lot of benefit from them, and coming to the food security, it will lead to food security because the government will subsidize the prices of the food, and that will lead to food security of the Gambia, and then everyone will be able to afford the food in a very cheap, and then in that case we can fight hunger in the country.
Okay, then we can now go to the next George. Okay, so can Gambia ensure that the benefits of growth in agriculture and tourism are equitably distributed among its population? Or how can Gambia ensure that the benefits of growth in agriculture and tourism are equitably distributed among its population? Gujarat can come in.
Thank you so very much for that question, Honorable. If I get the question right, it is how can Gambia ensure that the benefits of growth in agriculture and tourism are equitably distributed amongst its populace, right?
Sorry, Sajo, I think it was the same question that was asked earlier.
Yeah, so.
All right, let me. Okay. Now the question will be, are there external factors such as climate change that could impact the sustainability of these sectors in the Gambia, meaning agriculture and tourism? Are there external factors such as climate change that could impact the sustainability of these sectors in the Gambia?
Thank you very much once more, Honorable, for that question. The answer to this question is yes. And basically to substantiate this is that these are actually divine factors that we have. And as a matter of fact, we cannot go without them. But then what we do, as we talk about the empowering of agriculture and of course the empowering of tourism, what it is trying to say is we have to consider some of these factors. So as we consider these factors, what it is trying to tell us is we will prepare ourselves for the pros and of course the cons of these climatic factors. So when we have these climatic factors along the way, it would find out that people have already prepared for it. So as a matter of fact, when obviously you would have these external factors or climatic factors along the way, but people would have to prepare themselves for it as we talk about the empowering of agriculture and tourism. Thank you.
Okay, then we can have Maharashtra. Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, there are other factors we can talk about water scarcity and which climate change can lead to change in rainfall patterns, resulting in increase of water scarcity. And this affect agriculture and it can affect the clean water in the country. And we can talk about agricultural productivity, rising in temperature and changing in change in temperature pattern can reduce agricultural productivity, like when the rain is too much or when the sun is too much, this can affect the growth of the crops in the country. And we talk about the sea level rise, and the Gambia is a low-lying coastal, as we all know, making it highly vulnerable to sea level rise, as we all know about that. So rising in sea level can lead to coastal eruption, and it won't happen in our country. We can talk about the extreme weather events, and we can even climate change can increase the frequency and intensity of extreme that can cause damage to the infrastructures, as we all know about it. And we can know about the other thing about migration and displacement, which can also affect the development of the country.
All right. Thank you all for that wonderful answers. And then I would also like to congratulate all of you for giving your answers within the time limits. So now you will allow the judges to actually compile the scores, and by 8:40 we will actually announce the winners from both groups and the date for the finals. Thank you. So give us till 8:40, and we will come with we will be back with the results. Thank you. So meanwhile, I don't know, if Mr. BI is around. Mr. BI? All right, he's not in. All right, so for the meantime, you guys can maybe engage yourself in something useful for now till 8:40. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baji.
You said you look pretty.
Vivi.
Yes.
Vivi, I'm going to hello?
Fansu. Yeah.
I think somebody is asking for ROI.
Yes.
ROI. No, I think ROI is an IT terminology.
No.
Bro.
ROI. Hello.
Fansu, Fansu.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. Thank you.
ROI, when it comes to agriculture, hello?
Yes.
If you do
Fansu, mute, please. The background noise. Yes, thank you. Karamo.
When it comes to agricultural development, ROI, it is called return on investment.
Okay.
Return, yeah. The meaning is return on investment because that will give you it's a kind of a project that return on investment, like what agricultural the government invests on agriculture, what they expected to get from farmers at the end of the day, like when they subsidize them with subsidiary, what they are expecting from them.
I believe it's clear now. Thank you. Yes. Fansu.
Thank you, Mr. Karamo, for that. Thank you, Mr. No. Now Karamo has already cleared my doubt. I think I am now convinced with the terminology. We are learning here. Here is a learning center. Yeah, we are really learning. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Karamo, for that clarification.
Maria Gallo.
Mawahna laman Babukar Jiba aswala nam ñew fi ni.
Kan sa jëkër wala?
Because me, I don't understand this thing. I was just hearing my wife, baby. I don't know where the baby come from, and I don't even know where the wife come from. I was even thinking that he was referring to somewhere else.
Vivi, Interstate.
Mariama,
Louis. Louis, mute lane, please. Mute. Yes, Louis, mute that. Mariama. Don't worry, I'll facilitate that because Master, I cannot understand what is going on. Okay, Tombo.
Guru na ñew wala mi day
La gentleman Lewis ne mo ne Gambia is like how much 39% of for farming wala how much 39 I don't know 35 ana mo xamul ne geej bi pour farming les par agriculture the Gambia bi hanga lan ak geej
ko naka la man duma mbiri debate bi soko solé dama call ñu am conversation bu mëna yow bo mëna yow la mo mbiri wala joji ci do fene les no joji ci mënu ñu appelé les
That's fair enough.
Fine. Yes. So now second part. Mariama fii dafa am fii ay oncle ak ay kilifa fii nii biir Gujarat fii so there is no back door ngeen jàng di dem nii affaire bii def lu métti nag ba pare dañ koo discuss nag dañ koo yóbbu to the highest authority dañ faa jël action nag ngeen woon Jiba mu bàyyi lu mu wax nii nag daf ñu métti nag ok jërë ngeen def.
Okay, thank you. Ma mënoon na fi. So now the Pansu, yes, Pansu. And Pansu, your background noise sometimes. Pansu. Sajo, yes.
But Mbo, let's just be honest here. While supposed to come on the subject, even you know, code debate, so I want test about the subject. Well, exam, then you have A++. Sajo, I'm Maria, I'm looking at what here. I'm with friend. Come to them, I'm going to lecture. I'm going to binda. Tell you somebody about at National Assembly, Saha. You don't go approve. Understand?
Thank you.
So we understand. No, sir,
you are from Gujarat. No. You are from Gujarat. This is why you are supporting them.
Hold on, definitely agriculture middle school, but then I understand agriculture. I must understand. Come the guy when I don't go to binda sa. My book of material was my agricultural teacher. More come hold. You come A+.
Stop lying.
A+ I am.
ML mutual again, mutual. ML you are too much. ML mutual. Amadou, yes. Amadou.
Which Amadou?
I said S yalla ñew na nak legi. I said bismillah.
Man ML la bëgg xam kan mo nekkon agriculture teacher bi.
ML dana pala day.
Aday. Kamu mo ko don teach grade 10, 11 or 12 aday.
The cheese.
Easy, please. Easy. Yo,
Mbo.
Yes.
Mbo, tell them to move their mic, you know.
But
no problem, Mr.
It is so interesting to debate with Gujarat guys because they are very good. And secondly, the topic with the Obla hard pushing because we are very hard to take all these data because Gujarat should have more points.
Jiba. Hello, Jiba.
Yes.
Yeah, if possible, can we just avoid the topic for the time being until the judges do their work? Then we give question about it. Yes.
But you guys should not disturb my wife.
Jiba. Jiba, yo, mbiri way bobu la nekk di wade. Mbiri way bi kay clear sa bobu boy. Patel di mbiri way bi mo right now.
My God, I love it. I mean, he used almost all these terminologies.
Aisatu, mutual, please. My man, you don't unmute yourself here again.
Hey, let my sis be. So.
Who is Nessa?
You know what is like what I want to ask?
Jiba, come. Jiba, bismillah.
But Jiba mungi jule boy.
Okay. So what I want to ask, why Gujarat you always show us your power that you are big, the number is big. The first debate, everything I can say it was not like this. You people, you are corrupt. Tombong, ananga tombong. Tombong. Tombong, la mo nga corrupt. No, I don't like.
Thank
you, my bro.
Nopina. But Ablai, Gujarat in the turn out at the same time. Ablai is not promising.
No.
Yeah.
We have the number, and then also we have the ideas, and then we have the brand.
Hey, I don't know it.
They have the bright. Need to rafet. Need to Mande. Need to have that for you support them. So don't have to support some guy. So from one guy, support.
Yeah,
the first 75.
Now,
Tombo ema fanya ko
You
la
have
surwa
to
kan senata.
understand. It's not the number, it is the unity.
Thank you, Mariama. Thank you. Thank you.
Get
Thank
it?
you, Mariama.
It's the unity, it's not the number.
Mariama, mute yourself.
It's not about this. It's not about the strength. It's about unity, man.
Bas, you don't have my crop. Why do you dara? Who is next?
No.
Jiba, do you want to come in?
No, you are the badly.
Madam, which state is this as a Kejalo? Which state is she from? Because since day one,
Let's discuss the
she's
price
very
for the
busy.
winners. Madam President, tell me, what do you want? Investor vibes.
Investor vibe.
Nah, they
Ado,
agree.
ananga.
Boy, what is the topic?
Boy,
what is the topic?
Madam President, I don't say you. Malasa participant singalan mana full ngalan ngabuga. Hala nga hip.
Madam President, me dapat tiki. Alam mo yun, dapat tiki.
Yes.
What it is?
Yes, yes.
Yes, Bo. Ana debate di jehna na.
No. We are waiting for the results, so we just want to have some little engagement.
We want Gujarat to lose.
Huh?
Haters.
Madam Mbo.
Yes.
The VR amna after result we go announce VR amna.
VAR.
VAR amna.
VAR amna here.
I'm recording everything. I have everything on record. So if there's any hanky-panky business, we will expose them.
Bari. Yeah, VAR amna. I respect my Abdullah Njai on that. Thank you. So this house believes that stipends will always be delayed. Manima, what is your take on that?
Wow, money.
My take on that is that.
Cause no
Money.
problem.
No, I tell you, go feel like jenga.
Read as a motion, do what? Read as a motion.
That is tasteless. Tasteless.
It does not have water.
Less.
Mananga repeat the motion. Repeat ko.
Okay,
it does not hold water.
The house believes that stipends will always be delayed.
My ears were.
Alabama.
Motion Bobby does not make sense. Jarung put before this house.
Imagine what? Now?
It does not hold water.
This is the house of intellectual.
It's very undebatable.
Boy, can embassy you for one on Tuesday. I regulate the
use for Degan and la use.
Use for bro.
You know, on Tuesday, so from me for Dubai, boy. Maybe how much money and all the boy. Someone have had you. Someone
gis nga ne sa mbokki bari bu kay sa nekkuñ di la support. So motion bobu nonu kay just put it in the trash.
What's the last minute things are very nice, you know. Provided this was given at the beginning. No, let me give my point. Listen. Sajo, listen, let me give my point. Now.
Yeah, hello.
Bo xam nga ne gaay ponse kuru du nangu lolu boy. Am ine de na ñu bari ñu ponse boy.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, it's 8:30 now. Sorry, 8:40.
Go ahead. Yang on me.
Money. Mo hanga ya binda life bachiro. Na
Sorry,
pose
the judges are back. The judges are back.
I put them this kid now.
Hello. Yes. Yes, good. Okay. Mute. All right. Thank you all for coming back again. So now we will actually read the results, but before that, we will allow Mr. Fai to just give a little remarks regarding the actual purpose of this entire exercise before we announce the results. Is Mr. BI here, or he is not yet back? Okay, he's not yet back. So we will allow Mr. Fai to go ahead for 2 minutes. Then Madam Bai will come in to announce the results. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Baji and Honorable Fatumbai Kinte for this great opportunity. I just want to use the opportunity to thank everyone for this very courageous and historic debate that has been held. My simple advice is we are all a family. We are all one family, irrespective of whatever state it is. As I earlier alluded during the genesis of this very journey, I mentioned that it's all about the Gambia at the end of the day. So we have no loser. It's all about participation. It's all about unity. It's all about seeing us in promoting the national flag of the Gambia to higher heights. And this is something that we want to continue, not only here, but post the completion of all of us our programs. When we get back home, we continue to contribute to national development. This is why this very debate, if you look at it, it has been nationalistic. It has been centering on the Gambia. So I think without much ado, I just want to advise everyone that the trust and confidence that you've already had in us, we've tried our best. We know nobody is perfect. We are all human beings. As human beings, we are not perfect, but we have tried our utmost best. On that note, I will also want to thank the chairperson for what he has also been doing, and all my fellow judges, all the participants, the 7th Executive Council, the alumni, and all those who have been supporting one way or the other to see that we succeed. I will now hand over to Madam Fatu to read the results. Over to you, Fatu. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Omar. Welcome back to the semi-final results. But first of all, I would like to invite all of you on Tuesday. We have a grand ceremony. Our chancellor is celebrating her birthday, Amma. So all of you are invited. The nearby states to Kerala, you can come and enjoy with us. Okay. So moving to the results of the semi-final. We start with Haryana versus Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh, 81%. Andhra Pradesh scored 81%. Haryana scored 84%. Haryana, 84%. So going by the results, Haryana becomes the leading group in the semi-finals. Now we move to section B, where we have Gujarat versus Maharashtra. Gujarat versus Maharashtra. Maharashtra, 84%. Maharashtra scored 84%. Gujarat scored 92%. Gujarat scored 92%. Based on the results, Gujarat becomes the winning team. So we congratulate both teams for taking part, both Andhra Pradesh, Haryana, Gujarat, and Maharashtra. We congratulate you for the endeavors that you have made individually and collectively as a group. Now, the finals is going to be between Gujarat and Haryana. Gujarat and Haryana will be the finalists, and the date is the 7th of October 2023, 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. The finals between Gujarat and Haryana, the date is the 7th of October 2023 at 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
Tomo.
All right.
The judges should
Hello,
award the best,
hello,
the best fan
wait,
base.
wait, wait,
The
wait,
best fan
wait.
base.
Let's celebrate.
Hello.
Best fan base, please.
Go. Gujarat dem adem. Gujarat dem adem.
92%, 92% again, 92%.
Hello.
Big Daddy, I'm sorry.
Hello.
Go get yourself water.
Yeah. We concluded. Then later you can celebrate. So we thank you all, and then till on when? Till on Saturday. So 5 p.m. So please, let's be on time, so that we can just do it quickly and then finish. And then also, as Mr. Fai was mentioning, the entire exercise or this entire activity or event is just to bring that bond among ourselves, encourage ourselves, and then at some point talk about issues that are definitely affecting our nation. So we just take it from that point, and then we all celebrate positively, and then go to bed. Thank you.
So please announce the best fan base.
What I will also want to add is, please try to work on your connections for the finals. That is Gujarat and Haryana. We work on your internet connectivities. Maybe you can be at a place where you will have a proper internet connection. If your Wi-Fi at your various institutions are not that much very strong, you can just hotspot your mobile phone to your desktop, so that at least that will also be able to help. Okay, I thank you all, and then wish you a pleasant night.
Thank you,
Tomo.
thank you, Father.
Tomo,
Thank you, Father.
Sajo and Mariama.
Kamadola red boy. Kamadola canal boy.
This is not the end. This is not the end. Till we meet again. Malena Harat. Boy,
Hello,
Tomo,
guys. Man tay dibe bisanya ko matay tay dibe bine ko man do bugon ñu agin man lolu la bugon tay ota tay mo billahi
no abu dega sa dañ balal ñom Sadio rek balal ñom Sadio dañ tassé wat
tay degu ma
dañu dajewaat inshallah dañu tassé inshallah
bul wori wala bu independent dama la